Good afternoon, everyone. As we all know that we have a very eminent personality, Dr. NILIMA Chandiramani with us, and she was principal of KC Law College. She was also dean with Mumbai University Faculty of Law, and currently she is principal with Nari Gursahani College. I welcome ma'am, and I wish you to start the lecture, ma'am, on research methodology.
Okay, so thank you, Shilpi. And I'm extremely happy to engage you all in this webinar because it is something which is extremely close to my heart. Now, most of us who have gathered here today are already having a PhD. Most of us, I'm sure, except for some students and alumni, the principals and the teachers, most of us have a PhD. So I know that you are familiar with what is research. But before we start, I would like to ask a question. And of course, let me make it clear, let it be an interactive session and not a boring lecture, okay? Because research is a skill and we have to imbibe this, so there should be no lecturing on that. Now, before we start, let me ask you one question and anyone can answer me. How many of you have heard about Rudyard Kipling? Joseph Rudyard Kipling. Any one of the 62 who are present have heard about Rudyard Kipling?
Yes, ma'am.
Good. What was he?
Ma'am, he was an Indian-born English writer.
Good.
Ma'am, I read his poems as well.
He's written
Very
a lot
fine.
of poems.
It's okay, just one at a time. Now, Rudyard Kipling he was born in India, but he was an English novelist, poet, a short story writer, and a journalist. Because he was in India, he had a good understanding about Indian scenario, and he was awarded a Nobel Prize for Literature. So once Rudyard Kipling said, I have 6 honest serving men. They have taught me all that I know. Their names are what, why, where, when, who, how. So what does this mean? This means if you ask all these questions, what, why, where, when, who, how, you can arrive at most of your answers. So research is actually what, why, where, when, who, how. If you keep these questions in mind, you will be very easily able to understand what we are going to discuss today. Now, since today's research is not for PhD students, it is for writing an article in a journal, I may not touch upon all the 6 questions. So I'm going to focus on what is research, why research, and how research. Later on, when you want to do your dissertation for LLM and you want to do your PhD, the other 3 questions are also very vital. So let's take the first one. What? What is research? Can anyone tell me, just one at a time, as I said, any characteristic of research? You all have, most of you have done. What is research? Don't give me a definition from Encyclopedia Britannica. I don't want to hear that. I want to understand what you understand is research. What is research?
Understanding basic concepts.
No, what is research? You will understand the basic concepts, but what is research?
Ma'am, it's an inquiry into something.
So very good. It is an inquiry. Excellent. So the first characteristic of research is it is an inquiry. It is an investigation. You will carefully investigate, to test, to try, to probe new facts and discover answers to meaningful questions. So the first point is very well put by one of you, that it is an inquiry, it is an investigation. Now, is this investigation a haphazard investigation? Can I do this investigation in any manner?
No, ma'am, it has to be a systematic one.
It has to be systematic. A scientific procedure is to be followed. When I say scientific procedure, I don't mean pure science. I mean that it has to be a systematic thing. So it is a systematic investigation. Very good. The second characteristic of research. Yes, come on, even if you are wrong, just don't worry about it, you know. See, research is an open-ended system. It is not the answers which are material, it is the questions that you raise.
Ma'am, can I answer?
Yes, please. Yes.
Ma'am, research should be original, and research is something about which is already there. We know the phenomenon, but we need to relate it with the circumstances and the situational analysis of that time.
Okay, what I'm trying to first understand is, as I told you, I mentioned Rudyard Kipling for this reason, that we will take up some questions. What is research? What? So one of you beautifully said that it's an inquiry. Another one said that it is in a very systematic manner. I clubbed both the things together and I said it is a very careful investigation following scientific procedure. I'm trying to understand what it is. Second point, if you can tell me on what is research. One, it is an investigation and inquiry. What is the second thing?
Ma'am, we have to do ground survey.
See, that may be a method of research. If I'm doing empirical research, I may do field work, ground research. But I want to know what. What is it? Please remember Rudyard Kipling. What does he say? All that I know, it is because of these 6 honest serving men. And what are their names? What, why, where? So I want to know what is research. See, if the concept is not clear as to what is research, then whenever we are researching, whether it's a paper, LLM dissertation, PhD, or just for the sake of pure knowledge, my concept is not clear what it is, then how will I collect the material, collate it, write it, present it?
Ma'am, it is basically gathering of knowledge to prove an hypothesis that is in your mind.
Again, you are giving me the scientific procedure of having a hypothesis or research questions there.
Ma'am, is it related to collection of data?
See, collection of data will be in the scientific procedure that I will collect the material, I will collate it, I will write it. I'm repeating what is research?
Is it about preparing questionnaire, doing survey, and preparing a report?
That is a method of doing research. It may be a questionnaire, okay, or it may be an interview. That is not. That is.
Ma'am, is it searching again?
1 minute. See, all those who are answering, I want you to understand. Okay, like if you are adopting a questionnaire or an interview, it is a technique, how you will do research. I'm not asking you how research. I'm trying to first gather this information as to what is research, because till you don't know what is research, how research will never be possible. So one thing very nicely put by y'all is it's an investigation following a scientific procedure. I want to understand further characteristics of what is research.
Ma'am, is it
Knowledge
searching
gaining.
again?
Ma'am, adding
Yes.
knowledge to existing one.
Knowledge.
Ma'am, the word research itself tells us that it's a search again and again. It cannot be a one-time procedure. It has to be a continuous one.
It is a continuous process.
Continuous process, ma'am.
So, 1 minute. So if I'm going to research again and again, as you're saying, research, that means, can I give the same thing or should I give something else there?
Something amended, ma'am. New.
Something
can be
else, isn't it?
self-analysis.
Now,
Yeah, amended one.
can you give me a word for this something? Because it is a
Ma'am, it
research
can be
already.
innovation or invention.
1 minute.
Invention,
See,
ma'am.
please. If one is answering, just pause, because I would like to react to that. Because he was on the right track, you know, when someone else comes in, then that point is lost to all of us. As you said, it is a research. There is already something you are researching. So I put a counter question. Is it the same thing again I'm putting together? No, that will be a compilation. So I'm researching that thing. That means there should be something original. Now, this is what I was expecting to hear from you. See, that's why if our concepts are not clear, the first thought that should come to you on research is originality. And I'm sorry to say that in India, most of us are not original in our research. And that's the reason why, as teachers, we cannot inculcate that in our students. When we are giving them projects, what are students doing? Cut, copy, paste. So there is no, please don't change the slide. Shilpi, kindly don't change the slide. Yes. So what is important is that it is an original and a fundamental contribution. You are researching, material is already there. If you're going to put the same material again, then this is a compilation. I may compile a few things and put them together on one particular topic. This is not research. It is compilation. Then what is research? It is an original and a fundamental contribution in the field of knowledge, for us in the field of law. So we are contributing something. But what are we contributing? Something which is original, something which is fundamental. And this original and fundamental contribution should lead to advancement of knowledge in that field of law. So whenever you are writing a paper, when you're doing your thesis, if I just collect some 25, 30 books on patents or on women empowerment and put everything, can I call it research? No, because I have not understood the concept of what is research. Research means originality. It must be original. It must be fundamental contribution in the field of law, in whichever area I'm working, and it must lead to advancement of knowledge. If it doesn't, because if I compile 10 books and put it in a very artistic and a beautiful manner, it's not going to lead to any advancement at all. It must lead, originality must lead to an advancement. And the third important thing about research is it should be an objective inquiry. This point is very, very important. An objective inquiry. Now, what do I mean by objective? It's an inquiry. None of you said that. But this inquiry must be objective. Let me give you an example. I am totally against globalization. Okay, I'm totally against globalization. One of my students wants to research. He wants to do his doctorate on globalization. And his hypothesis is that globalization is good for the IT sector in India, or globalization has done a lot of good for the automobile industry in India. And he researches, collects material, and he substantiates it. Now, just because I am against globalization, I don't approve of that. No, because research is all about objectivity. You can't bring in your subjective elements. As you go on researching, now your hypothesis may be that globalization is bad. But when I go on researching, I get material which shows that globalization is good for India. Then my hypothesis becomes a null hypothesis. Nothing wrong in it. I have to substantiate that globalization. If I say it is good, I should be able to prove that it is good. And that's why I told you, it is not the answer which is important. Even when you go for your PhD, no referee, no guide can tell you, how have you come to this conclusion? No. The question will be, what is your research question? Have you posed a meaningful research question? Your answer can be different. Are you understanding? The question should be meaningful. It's very important that the question that you've asked is a meaningful question. Answer can be different. Someone may feel globalization is good for IT sector, globalization is good for automobile industry. But if I had to take the agreement on agriculture, if I had to look at the Indian farmers, I may feel globalization is bad. It has not been beneficial. So your answer can be anything. But the question is, have I posed a right question? Is it an objective? Objectivity is a must. You know, many of us have this very bad habit that if I want to prove it is good, I will put in only that material which will substantiate my claim. And someone has said something else, I turn a blind eye to it. No, this is called as intellectual dishonesty. What is needed in research is intellectual honesty. Be objective. Be objective in your approach. Never mind, you have posed a question, the material you have collected, you will have to substantiate. 2 plus 2 may be 5. It's fine. You can't say no, 2 plus 2 has to be 4. But that 2 plus 2 is 5, you will have to substantiate it. That globalization is good, globalization is bad, 498A has been, that section is abused. There is women discrimination. Discrimination can be for any reason. Are you understanding? So 3 things are important. Shilpi, please show the first slide now. Shilpi, yes. So I have deliberately put it in blue ink. These are the characteristics. So that's why first be clear on what is research. Rather than going to methods, you know, interview, those questions will come as to how you will research. But your concept on what is research should be clear. So till it is not original work, your article which you are writing, if it's not original, it is not fundamental, it is not leading to advancement of knowledge in that area, it is no research. You are just lifting an article, you are lifting 10 articles, putting it together, okay? You are just trying to collate all that material and you are making one new article for yourself out of it. There is no originality at all. Please don't do that. There must be originality, and whatever you're writing must lead to some advancement in the field of law, whether you're taking torts, you're taking contracts, you're taking family law. It must be original work. The next slide, I'll tell you what is originality also. But it must lead to advancement. But if it's already there, then what advancement is there? It is no advancement at all. Second thing is, you must be objective in your inquiry because you are inquiring a problem or a fact. It is not necessary that the answer must suit someone. No, the question is, have I posed a right problem? Is it clear? Have I posed a right problem? Have I raised a proper hypothesis? What answer you're getting is not material at all. It's open-ended, as I told you. So for some, having a product patent may be good. For others, a product patent may harm the poor. It may not be possible to have affordable medicines for everyone. Are you understanding? So you have to be objective in your inquiry, but finally, whatever conclusion you come to, you will have to substantiate why you say that there is discrimination against women. Are you understanding this? Why triple talaq should not be allowed? You have to substantiate that. And the third point is, it is an investigation. Material is there. You are researching, you are investigating it. Why are you investigating? Because you want to answer those questions, meaningful questions. You are testing a hypothesis. You are trying something. You are probing a new fact. But how are you going to do it? Not in a haphazard manner. You are going to do it in a very scientific manner, in a systematic manner. Is it clear? So first, you should keep in mind what is research and what can we cull out? Originality, leading to advancement, objective inquiry, and the investigation will be through a scientific procedure. Now, what do you mean by originality? You say something which no one has said before. Now, this type of research is very rare in India. Like, we are not Darwin or Newton or Einstein. They were the ones who said something which no one had said before. But the real originality is that, where you say something which no one has said so far. Or second is, you do empirical work. Now, I hope you all are aware of doctrinal research and empirical research. Doctrinal research is research which what is known as armchair research or library research. We sit in one place and we read the books and other material and we write a paper. Empirical is when you go on the field and you try to go to the grassroots level, talk to the people, interview them, and have a questionnaire. Empirical research. Third is when you synthesize things which have not been put together before. Now, let me give you an example. IPR, in its area, many have done research. Management, people have done research. But how does one manage IPR? I have obtained several patents. Now, I want to manage those patents. So IPR management, I'm synthesizing IPR, and second is management of IPR. Or there may be research on patent, but no one may have tried to link it with healthcare in India. So patent and healthcare. Another synthesis could be trips and farmers' suicide. We have been reading a lot about farmers' suicide, but we have never tried to synthesize farmers' suicide with the trips provision. So trips and farmers' suicide. The third form of originality can be new interpretation of someone else's idea. Idea is someone else's, but what are you doing? You are trying to interpret that one's idea. That interpretation is not there. So interpretation of someone else's idea. Okay, something which is new in India, it may be done elsewhere. But if it is new in India, even that would be research. Working across disciplines, the next one. You work across disciplines. For example, gender construct. Someone may look at it socially, legally, economically, politically. So what are you doing? You are working across the disciplines. You are touching upon economics. You are touching upon law. You are touching upon sociology. You are touching upon political science. So when you work across gender construct, gender discrimination, many have spoken about. But if you are going to touch upon all these aspects together, you're working across the discipline, then even that is original work. The next one is testing existing knowledge in an original manner. Knowledge is already there. You are researching it and you are doing it in an original manner, then even that is research. Or you are adding, next slide. Next slide, yes. Or you are adding to knowledge in a way which is not done before. Knowledge has been there, but you are doing it in a different manner which no one has done, or you are exposing someone else's idea. Okay, the person has not exposed that idea, you are exposing that, then that is also originality, or continuing an original piece of work. Now, this you all may be aware of because very often a student does LLM dissertation, and then for his PhD, he takes the same dissertation and converts it into a PhD degree by working further up on that particular piece of work. Like suppose someone is working on the surrogacy bill, and by that time a law is passed and you're working on the law. Or what many students had done, sexual harassment at workplace, Vishaka's judgment. That time these were guidelines by the Supreme Court. Later on, we have the law, sexual harassment at workplace. So when you are continuing your original piece of work, even that is originality. Is it clear? So from this, we have just understood what is research. So I hope the concept on research is clear. It is an original piece of work which will lead to its advancement. And originality means all those things which we just went through. Second thing is, it is an objective inquiry. You must not be subjective. Make an object. I may not be in favor of globalization, but I must conduct the research objectively, and whatever conclusions I come to, that will be real work. And that's why I told you what answer you get is not material. Your question is, have I posed a proper question? That is important. And then third, we said, it is an inquiry and investigation. You are trying to probe, you are trying to answer your research question, but you are going to do it in a scientific manner. There is a scientific procedure involved. Now we go to why research? Why should you be researching? Why does usually one do research? Yes, please come in. Why research? Why have you all done research? Those of you who have done research, why have you done it? Shilpi, am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am. Okay. Okay. Now, anyone who has done his PhD here? Why research?
Can I say something, ma'am? Yeah, I completed Master of Valuation, and the concept was dissertation on petrol pump valuation. The main, what do you say, objectivity of that was towards standard process.
Excuse me. My question is, why research? We have understood what is research. Now, why does one research?
Ma'am, so that we come to know about that particular concept or about that particular topic in detail, and we get the every detail about that thing, little details about that topic or concept.
Okay, have you done any research?
No, ma'am. Like
no,
I haven't.
Okay. Anyone who has done research? Anyone who has done research?
Yes, ma'am. I have written a research paper and I have published it. The reason is to probe into a single project, an engineering project.
No. Now I modified my question. I said anyone who, you said yes, you have done research. Why did you research? Why? To publish a paper, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. So why does one research? Either you want to publish a paper. Now there are professors today. There are professors for this webinar. We are having many teachers, isn't it? Okay, Shilpi, tell me, have you done any research?
Yes, ma'am. I have done some research, evaluated and analyzed. So analysis of something, analysis of something.
No. What research have you done? I'm asking you.
I have done doctrinal, ma'am.
Exactly. You have done your PhD, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So why do you research? Because you want to get your PhD degree. Okay. So we research either to get a PhD degree or second for anyone who has done LLM?
Dissertation or something.
Dissertation. So you research because your LLM course requires a dissertation. A teacher does a LLM or PhD because that is necessary for teaching. For a legal professional, every case that he takes is a research. Every case that you will take will be a research. And some of us research for the sake of pure knowledge. We are interested in knowing something. We want to publish a paper. So for the sake of pure knowledge, we research. So let's go to the next slide. Why research? Okay. So why do you research? Either for an LLM degree or for a PhD program, or because of your teaching profession, or you are a legal professional. What is this disturbance?
Please mute yourself. Please mute yourself. All of you, please mute yourself. Ma'am is having difficulty and we all also can't hear her well. Please keep yourself on mute.
Not only mute, please switch off your videos also. Even I have switched off my video so that the audibility is better. So why do we research? Either for an LLM degree or a PhD degree, or for teaching profession, a legal professional, for him, every case is research. And many of us do research for the sake of pure knowledge. I want to get some knowledge and hence I want to research. Now I'll give you an example. Yesterday, my daughter was just telling me that there is an International Alliance Mental Health Association which has said that 1 out of every 5 in United States is going to have a mental disorder by 2023. Now, when I was discussing this, I was quite alarmed. If 1 out of 5 is going to suffer from mental illness by the year 2023, it is something very alarming. So I just made up my mind, I would like to do some research on this particular topic. Now, when I research on this topic, it is for the sake of pure knowledge. I just want knowledge and hence I'm going to work on this topic. Later on, I may want to publish it. And then what will I do? I will publish it as a paper. So why do we research? We research either for the sake of pure knowledge, or we want to publish an article in a journal, or you are a legal professional and a new case has come before you, hence you need to research on it before you argue in a court of law, or you have decided to join the teaching profession when LLM and PhD is a must, or you are a student pursuing your LLM or your PhD program and hence you research. Okay, so normally the reasons why you research, that's why the question is by you. You were telling me I want to find out. No, that is the way you will research. How? So first, what is research? Then why does a person normally research? A person researches either for the sake of pure knowledge. I read something in the papers, I hear on the television, someone discusses something with me, it is a new thing, and hence I'm curious, I'm inquisitive, I want to know something about it for the sake of pure knowledge. Later on, I may decide to publish my paper. Or I am a legal professional and a new case has come up, I need to research on that. I want to join the teaching profession, so I need to publish some papers, or I'm pursuing an LLM program or a PhD program, So these are some of the reasons why a person researches. Okay, so what is research? Why research? Now this why research is very, very important. I've asked you. I will come back to this once again. Let's go to the next slide. Now, before I go to how research, I want to touch upon essentials of research. Because still I don't know the essentials, how I'm going to research, I will not know. Okay, so we are going from simple to complex. First, what is research? I've understood it should be original, it should be objective, and it is an investigation following a scientific procedure. Now, why do I want to research? It can be for LLM, PhD, I'm a legal professional, I want to pursue, but it can also be for the sake of pure knowledge and for writing an article in a journal or a magazine. Now, how I will research, which is very important, but before I go to how research, I must go to essentials of research. Now, you have to follow every point of this essential of research if you want to know how to research. The first thing is, you must be honest and dispassionate because you have to be objective. Okay, your subjectivity should not come in. You should be dispassionate, and to be dispassionate, to be detached, you need a lot of honesty. Otherwise, I will, as I said, take in only what I want. Is it clear? So be very honest, and whatever material you are getting, please collect it, put it. It may be yes, it may be no, but please collect that material. Don't only take the material which will suit your hypothesis, which will suit your answering your question in a particular manner. Put all those together, be honest, be dispassionate about your investigation. Second, keep in mind that why are you collecting this material? There is a purpose. And what is that purpose? Either you want to establish your hypothesis or you want to answer the questions. So don't go off at a tangent. Please keep your purpose in mind. You have 3 research questions. You have 4 research questions. So keep those questions in mind and take the material because you have a purpose to achieve. So for that purpose, you are collecting the material. Third is it requires a methodology. Remember, what is research? We said it's an inquiry following a scientific procedure. You have to follow a scientific procedure. The entire methodology will come. What is methodology? Can anyone tell me the difference between methodology, research methodology, and research methods? Is there a difference between the two? Someone who has done PhD, can you tell me the difference between research methodology and research methods? Yes, please come in.
Ma'am, can I say?
Please don't switch on your video. No, just unmute yourself and tell me what.
Actually,
please tell me what is
okay?
Are you in a train?
Are you traveling? I'm in train. That's why I'm saying, ma'am.
Oh my God! Then that's the reason why. See, that is the reason why we are having so much of audibility problem, you know. Okay, then let be. I'm not putting any questions because I don't know where y'all are. Okay. Now, methodology is the principles which guide your entire research. Is it doctrinal? Is it empirical? What method are you going to employ? Will it be questionnaire? Will you collect sample? What sort of sample will it be? Okay. So everything. Are you going to limit the scope of your study? All the principles which will guide your research is the methodology. Methods of research can be, as I said, you will collect a sample, you will administer a questionnaire to them, or you will employ the interview method. So research requires a methodology for its conduct. You have to be very, very systematic and follow that methodology. Now, research is actually a skill. According to me, it is an art, it is a science, and it is a skill. I'll take first the science part. It is science. Why? Because you have to be very scientific and systematic. It is a skill because the more you will research, the better you become. Now, let me give you an example. You know, in school, we were taught to make a craft. During a craft class, we were asked to prepare a flower, let us say. So what did your teacher do? First, she cut the petals, the sepals, and she showed it to you. Then she made that flower and asked you to do the same thing. So the first thing that you did, the first flower that you crafted may not have been very good. But the second time you did it, it was better. The third time, it was still better. The fourth time, it was good. Fifth time, it was excellent. So it is a skill. Don't get disheartened. The first time you do research, it may not be good. You may be outright wrong in what you have done. Don't worry. The only way you will learn to research is by actually researching. However much I may talk, however much I may train you, till you actually don't start researching, you will not be able to research. Please remember, because it is a skill. The first draft that you prepare will be shabby. It will be wrong. It may be totally wrong. Your teacher may tell you, oh, what rubbish it is. Fine. You have created rubbish. Never mind. The second time when you will work on it, you will improve. So it is a skill. Keep on doing it. Don't get disheartened at all. Small little triflings will come in your way. You will feel disheartened. Oh, my teacher said it is rubbish. I know Shilpi told me, ma'am, we have heard that even if there is no comma, you don't allow. Yes, I'm very particular. But it doesn't mean I will reject your work. I will tell you, go back, improve that particular chapter, improve that paragraph, improve that page, do some proofreading, do some editing. So it is a skill, and skill can be learned when actually you do it, you exercise it. So please believe me, your first draft, your first paper, your first article can never be superb. In fact, let me share something with you. The first draft that you have worked, even a paper that you have published, one of you said you have published that paper. Very good. After a month, read your own paper and you will see the deficiencies in the paper. You will feel, oh, it should not have been like this. I should have written like this. Now, this doesn't mean your paper is wrong. No, it only means you have grown intellectually. You're able to relook at your paper. So go on researching. It is a skill. You have to practically imbibe it. And it is an art also. Why it is an art? How I write, how I put it. If I put it in a boring manner, long sentences. You know, we law students have a very bad habit. Our sentence is one paragraph. Never do that. It is sad, you know, that I take these courses for Symbiosis International University. But even in their syllabus, writing is not a crucial part. What is needed is the art part of research. We have to train you in writing. So let your sentences be short and sweet. Put yourself in the shoes of the reader. Now, if you had to read a boring long paragraph, which is one sentence, you will not enjoy. So learn the art of writing, how you are going to present. I may prepare excellent food. I'm a great cook. I prepare very well. But if I serve it shabbily to you on the table, will you feel like eating that? So research is a science. It is a skill and it is an art. First, it is a science because it is extremely systematic and scientific. Second, it is a skill. Go on writing, rewriting, and writing again. Third, it is an art. So learn to beautify your work. Learn the skill of writing. And again, when I'm saying learn writing, I can't teach you writing till you actually don't take your paper and pen, start writing. When you start writing, as I told you, your own paper, after a week, after a month, you may feel, oh, what it is. Now, when I prepared the slideshow, I prepared it and I left it. Next day, again, I came back to my slides. I found so many mistakes. Again, I corrected them. I sent them to Shilpi. Now, today, when I'm looking at my slideshow, I still feel I could have improved it. Now, this is research. Are you understanding? So learn, go on improving your work, and you will go on improving with the passage of time. You will realize that I could have done much better. Okay? So learn to write your paper in a manner which others would love to read. So if you put it in a very prosaic and a dull and a boring manner, no one is going to read. Now we come to an important point. Many people will tell you, oh, ideas just come. They pop up, they come from the sky, they fall into your head. And research and writing is just a flare, it's a spark. You know, many tell, oh, ma'am, writing comes easily to you. No, not at all. It is not at all true that writing comes easily. It doesn't come easily at all. Next slide. New ideas will come out of meticulous work. So anyone who tells you, you know, I forget about research, it is only for those people, you know, to whom it comes naturally. No research comes naturally. No writing is a spark, a flare. You know, sometimes we admire, oh, this person writes so well. He has a knack for writing. He has a flair for writing. He has a spark. No, nothing is a flare. Nothing is it is meticulous work. You write, rewrite again. It is hard work and it is inspiration, you know. Ideas don't fall from the heaven. They don't fall from the sky into your head. I just shared with you about that mental condition of 1 out of every 5 Americans by 2023. Now, this idea wouldn't have come to my mind unless and until I had not discussed it with someone, unless I had not read that particular article. So it is meticulous work. I read something beyond the syllabus, I get an idea, and hence I write it. Is it clear? So don't believe by people who tell you, oh, no, ideas just come like that. Ideas don't come like that. You have to work hard for these ideas. But as I told you, never be disheartened. You know, there are people who will write a draft and they, oh, no, this is not good. I must write better. Then tomorrow they'll still write better. But yet what will they do? Yet they are not happy with it. No, keep in mind, what I'm going to publish, the article that you're going to write for the magazine for which we are having this workshop today, what is needed is some sound and publishable research. It should be some sound work you are doing, some original work, which will lead to advancement. And it is publishable. It is not unattainable perfection. Many of us fall into this trap. No, this should be perfect. The word perfect is imperfect. There is no such thing as perfect. Perfection is unattainable. You strive towards it. I'm not telling you that. Strive towards perfection. But don't just stop publishing your paper just because you feel, oh no, it is not perfect. Mull over your research. You know, when you write an article, you must eat that article. You must drink that article. You must sleep that article. You must walk that article. You must swim that article. What I mean to say is, whatever you are doing, be obsessed with that particular thing, whatever you are doing. Mull over it, go again and again over it. You know what I do when I write an article, I keep even the copy of that article in my kitchen. When I'm cooking, I get an idea, I just jot down that point. When I go for my walk, again, I get an idea, I jot it down. When I'm listening to music, something I remember, again, I write it. So that's what I mean. Be something related to your topic. Mull over it, go over it again and again, but don't think that, oh, it's not perfect and hence I'll not publish. Strive towards perfection. Okay? So go through it again and again. You will go on perfecting it. Have confidence in yourself. Be committed and dedicated to your work, and you will be able to write an article. It's not a problem at all writing an article. Next slide. Pursue your research very sincerely, very relaxed. Don't give up. Okay.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I have a request,
Yes.
ma'am. Again, we'll have to log out after 2 minutes because that is the platform. Sorry, ma'am. That is how it is.
This is no fun, Shilpi. No fun, Shilpi.
I understand that, ma'am. But this is only 40 minutes we have this session.
No, but you know,
and again we will.
No, but I would have done something else otherwise, you know, because there too much of disconnection is there. Anyway, pursue relentlessly and sincerely. Let not trifle irritation set you back. Okay, so don't get disheartened about it. Research is not something that you can complete in one stroke. You know, my students come to me and they tell me, you know, for PhD, ma'am, here is my research. I ask them, how many drafts have you made? They tell me, this is the draft. How can you do research with one draft? Darwin took 30 years to do his research. How many of you, are we disconnected?
No, ma'am.
Hello?
No, ma'am.
We are there. We are there.
Okay. Now, how many of you have heard about John Kenneth Galbraith? You know, this I'm trying to tell you that don't be disheartened with what you are working. Okay? Don't worry. Have confidence. Go ahead with your paper. Strive towards perfection. But if it's not perfect, don't say, oh no, I'm not going to give it to the college for publishing. No, do it. How will you improve? By researching again and again. It's something which cannot be done with just one stroke. And I told you, Darwin took 30 years to do his research. I was coming to John Kenneth Galbraith. Have you heard about him? Anyone? No? No one has heard about John Kenneth Galbraith? He was an economist and he has written several books, The Affluent Society and so many other things. He was an economic advisor to President Kennedy. Now, he was also a very great professor at Harvard. And even for his lectures, he would prepare 7 drafts. Can you believe it? I'm not interested in labor laws. So we all have a particular, you know, there are some people who feel very strongly about women, about children, about old people, about animals, about environment. And when you read a report, any atrocity committed against a woman, against a child, old people, animal, you feel outraged. Okay, your topic should be your personal interest, your intellectual curiosity, your drive, your motivation. What I told you, it is called as intellectual suffering. You know, intellectually, I feel very much about people who are suffering from mental health. Okay, if they don't have good mental health, or old people, or animals. So it is my area of pain, and hence I can do the best over here. I feel about environment. Diwali, there should be no crackers. Okay, I feel strongly. When you feel strongly about anything, that is the area that you should take. Okay, I told you law is very vast. So suppose you are feeling something for old people, then take the law relating to senior citizens. If you're feeling about children, the moment you read, you know, there is a pedophilia, he is abusing children, take up that topic. Are you understanding? If you feel strongly about animals, then take up animal welfare laws. So what you feel strongly, please take that. It should be your area of pain while identifying the topic, okay? Never take a topic which someone else is telling you, because I'm interested in WTO. You may say, ma'am, I will tell you work on investment measures. You feel I don't like economics, I don't like investment. So why should you do investment laws? Are you understanding? So don't take up things which are not. Whatever you are interested in, that is your area of pain, that is your intellectual suffering. Please take that. Okay? Identify. Then you take what are your sources of, once you have decided, I'll take animal laws. Okay? Then you go to your source. From where will you get your material? There are printed sources now. So it is online and offline. Everything is available online. So you take written material, you take online material. In this online material, you will have textbooks, journals. I'll come to that, library use. Along with books and articles and case laws, you can attend symposia, seminars, workshops, conferences, okay? Their papers are presented. You know, seminars are a great source of research topic. Very often new topics are discussed in seminars and symposia. Take the papers which are presented there. Third area could be research which is being carried on. It can be an ongoing research or there can be a prior research. So go to your library. Someone may have submitted a PhD thesis, an LLM dissertation. So take up anything from there. Available data, fourth one. What is available data? You know, government gives a lot of information on poverty, development. Now look at that, National Education Policy. Okay, the NEP, National Education Policy 2020. So take that. So government gives a lot of, there are many bureaus, government bureaus, which give you crime, which tell you about environment, which tell you about development, about poverty, gender. So read that. And last source can be media. Media can be print media, newspapers. Okay, it can be your television also. So for identification, rely on yourself, your area of pain, what you are feeling very strongly. If you feel about mental health, you feel strongly, then let that narrow down, of course. Then what do? Go to the material. Material can be online, offline. There are papers which are presented. So you can go through PhDs, theses, you can go through LLM dissertations. You can go through online prior research, papers in seminars, symposia, look at the information which the government is giving you, and then the media. Those will be your sources of research. Now we go to one very important thing, and you must address this. Urgency. What is the urgency of research? You are taking up a topic. Is it urgent? If there is nothing urgent, someone has done a lot of work, what are you writing that article for? Because what is research? Remember our first question? Our first question was that it should be original and it should lead to an advancement. Is it clear? Original work leading to an advancement. So is there an urgency? That is important. Now, how do I know whether it's an urgent problem or not? First, see, is it a new problem? Okay, is it a new problem? For example, 498A was there. But now what do you see? There is a misuse of 498A. So it is a new problem. Let me work on it. Integrated circuits. People have done on patent, trademark, copyright. Many are now working on geographical indication. But integrated circuits, topographies. Has anyone done any research on it? No, it's a new problem. Let me think about that. Trade secrets. Okay, Coca-Cola case, everyone knows. But there are so many other trade secrets. Should I work on this? It is a new problem. Okay. Second question you will ask is there an importance involved? It is new, but it is not at all important. It is rubbish. Then why should I worry? Importance. For example, COVID-19. Isn't it? A lot of importance is there. So should I do some research on COVID-19? It could be international obligations and claims. It could be frustration of contracts under Section 56 during COVID times. Okay, it could be availability of Covishield and Covaxin, any other drug. So is there an first is what? Is it a new thing? If it is nothing new and people have done work, then what are you going to contribute? Where is the advancement? That's why I told you, what is research? You have to understand. It is not just churning out an article. Today, it is sad. We are churning out PhDs, which are really not worth the paper on which you are writing. Ask yourself, is it a new problem? Is there an importance? If it is not, it is new, but it is not important, forget it. Okay, so NEP, the National Education Policy, COVID-19. Then third question, does it have any legal, social, economic relevance? Is there any relevance in law for society or for economics? Okay, does it have any relevance? For example, let's take LGBT issue. Okay, okay, we have regularized that, but are they allowed to marry still in India? Okay, do some empirical research in that, because now it's not only LGBT, but there are many other areas over there. Am I taking up all those areas or not? Prior informed consent. We are having the Biodiversity Act, we are having the Plant Varieties Act, but what about prior informed? How many of my farmers are understanding about traditional knowledge? They are giving their consent, but do you have prior informed consent? Why forget the farmers? You go for surgery to a hospital, okay? Whether it is cancer or it's anything, you are asked to sign a form by the doctor. Do you know what you're signing? They are signing, they are taking your prior informed consent. Have you understood it? You don't have prior informed consent. So this has legal relevance, it has social relevance, it has economic relevance. So take such topics for your paper. Then lastly, any topic, if you do empirical research, it's wonderful. Even a topic like discrimination against women, I feel this is such a stale bhajia. Discrimination against. From ages, we have been doing gender discrimination, women are discriminated with. But if you do empirical research, field work, let me take just women are discriminated in a particular taluka, in a particular area, in my building, in my lane, in my society. But I do empirical research. That has weight. That is real work. There is an urgency, because lots of doctrinal research is there, but there is no empirical research. So please go in for empirical research where urgency is concerned. Okay, next topic I go to, just give me a minute, please. Okay, then we go to whether it is worth researching. The fourth slide. Not the slide, the fourth topic, worth researching. Now, when is a topic worth researching? I have identified it, I've gone to the sources, I've seen that there is an urgency. Because there is an urgency, it doesn't mean it is worth researching. It is worth researching if there is a theoretical potential or a practical relevance. Theoretical potential or practical relevance. On the theoretical front, what you are researching should result in revising or refining an existing principle of law. Okay, theoretical potential, when does your work have? When you are revising or refining an existing principle. Let me give you an example. For example, if it is whether mother can be the natural guardian, Vandana Shiva's case. Okay, guardianship, the law is already there. But now what are you doing by this sort of research? You are going to revise it, or you're going to refine that principle. And it will become a legal provision that not only the father but the mother can also see. In law, still mother is not the natural guardian. It is Vandana Shiva's case. Are you understanding? So if it is going to revise or it is going to refine an existing principle of law, it is worth researching because it has a theoretical potential. It will bring about a change in the theory or in the principle of law. Or it should altogether develop a new principle. A new principle should be evolved. For example, irretrievable breakdown of marriage. Whether it can be a ground for divorce or not. Now, you know, there are judgments where courts have said yes, where they have not allowed, but we can now have a new principle of law, a new point that irretrievable breakdown of marriage is also a ground for divorce. Triple talaq. Okay, so on the theoretical front, what it should be, either there should be a revision or refining of an existing theory, or it should develop a new theory or principle. On the practical side, research must be undertaken to solve the problems, evils, or ills that beset the society. Okay, I said it is worth researching then when there is a theoretical potential or a practical relevance. Theoretical potential, I hope you have understood, when there will be a revision or refinement of a principle of law, or you are going to create a new principle. On the practical side, it is worth researching when the research will result in what? In solving the problems, the evils and the ills that are besetting our society. For example, as I told you just now, on mental health, piracy of genetic material, which is there in India, recidivism, perinatal syndrome, all these are ills which are there in the society. If I can research on this, I can write a paper, it will give a solution to the ills or the evils, or maybe even genetically modified crops. So I'm giving a solution, farmer suicide. I can link it with trips. So the fourth point is your topic is worth researching if it has a theoretical potential or it has some practical relevance. When can it have practical relevance? When it will solve the problems or the ills or the evils of the society. Okay? Then we take practicality, whether the topic is, now this is something very interesting. I have seen students of both types. There are students who select a topic and then they tell me, oh ma'am, it is not at all practical for me to do. Why? Either because mentally I'm not tuned. Okay, for example, I'm not very techno savvy. Someone had to tell me to do something on cyber crimes. I wouldn't take that topic because I don't have that much knowledge of information technology. So it will not be within my means. So don't be an idealist. No, I will do it. Or yes, you first learn everything on IT and then you think of that particular topic. Okay? Or sometimes it may be that, I want to do something on maritime law. Material is in Mumbai. I'm based, let us say, in Delhi, or I'm in Pune. Every now and then I have to come to Mumbai. No, so it's not practically for me possible to do it. Either I'm not equipped in terms of my background, in terms of my training, in terms of my sources, in terms of my material. I don't have resources. I don't have special equipment. I don't have data. I don't have methods. I don't have time also, that sort of time. Or it will involve a lot of money and I don't have sponsorship also. So it is not practical for me to take that particular topic. Okay. So please be very practical of what you are taking. Again, please give me 1 minute. I'm sorry. And the last heading over there is types of research titles. Now, a research topic can be descriptive, explanatory, or analytical. In law, I'm talking. You are either describing TRIPS flexibilities and you are using them, or you are explaining something, or you are being analytical, genetically modified crops, medical tourism. Are you understanding? So a research topic may be descriptive, explanatory, or analytical. Now, a descriptive title normally is framed in terms of the content of the study, gender discrimination. Okay, the content of it. You're only going to describe that. An analytical title will point out the perspective of the study. Gender discrimination. Now, I'm saying the perspective, the patriarchal nature of society. Or gender discrimination, women are responsible for that. Gender discrimination, it is the law. Are you understanding? So when you are being analytical, then you are giving the perspective of the study. An analytical title is better because it will give you the content and it will also give you the perspective. Like, the 3 topics which I gave you: genetically modified crops, retrogression of Indian agriculture, medical tourism in India, the need for a balanced approach, Indian healthcare system using TRIPS flexibility. So what am I doing here? I'm giving you the content and I'm also giving you the perspective. Okay, so always try to, I'm not saying necessarily, mind you, you have your main title and you have your subtitle. That would be ideal. But otherwise, even if you give a simple sentence, which will give you, as I told you, framing the title is important. That should allow the reader to understand what will be your research questions. Is it clear? But normally, there are 2 types of research titles, as I told you, the descriptive and the analytical one. So if you give the main title and a subtitle, it would be better. Okay, now you go to formulating the research problem. Now, as I told you, selecting the appropriate research topic. Once the topic is selected properly, you will either formulate a hypothesis, but as I told you, in legal studies, normally we go for research questions. And the third one, have you put the next here? Now, see, I have given the third one, presenting and writing your research report. I put it in paper because no school in India bothers about this third point. But if you're doing your PhD abroad, they focus a lot on presenting and writing your research report. You should know how to write your report because writing is an art, as I told you. Your research topic should translate. It should flow into your hypothesis or your research questions. It is more difficult to find and formulate a problem than to solve. Once you have formulated your problem, then it is very easy to solve the problem. So learn to formulate your problem. This is a very challenging and time-consuming task. Don't get disheartened. Spend a lot of time on it. Once you have formulated your title and your questions, then you know how to collect, where to collect, and how to do it. This will require attention and tremendous patience. It's very important. Now, next slide. What you should keep in mind while formulating your title and your problems is ABC. What is ABC? A stands for accuracy. When I put the title to you, you all went on explaining TRIPS is bad. And no. You don't explain that here. What you do is you be accurate, you be brief, and you be clear. A for accuracy, B for brevity, and C for clarity. The problem must be specific in terms of scope, coverage, and perspective. So don't take too vast a topic. So the moment I say it's a retrograde step for Indian agriculture, genetically modified crops, that means I'm focusing on what? I'm focusing only on Indian agriculture. I'm not talking about the harmful effects of genetically modified crops on human beings, that when I consume that food, what is going to happen? I'm not doing that study. I'm only saying that it will spell the death knell of Indian agriculture. What will happen to our agriculture, to our farmers, and to our indigenous families? So limit it. Don't be over ambitious. I will take this, I will take that, I will take everything. No, you can't take everything. Take a little, leave others to do. Let someone work on GM crops, effect on human beings. Are you understanding? So effect on land. What will happen when I grow these crops? What is going to happen to the land? What is going to happen to the underground water? Let that be a separate topic of research. So define its scope. Don't be too ambitious and formulate which you can't, a problem which is so vast that you are getting drowned. It should be manageable. Okay. Then this next slide, I think you can read because we are running against time. How will you collect the material? I have given you primary legal material, secondary legal material, tertiary material. Primary will be your acts, statutes, codes, and other things. Judgments are also your primary material. Secondary will be your textbooks, articles, digest, journals. You know, this itself, I require 2 to 3 hours. So I'm just giving it to you in brief. And tertiary material will be when you are giving the history, okay, of gender discrimination, then you will go to history, you will go to pol science, you will go to logic, you will go to sociology, you will go to anthropology. So while collecting material, don't only take primary legal material, you will also need secondary legal. You know, there are a lot of advantages of secondary, but there are some disadvantages also. But this is not a PhD coursework we are doing. It is for you to enable you to write a paper, and this should suffice. And the last one is citations. Now here also I need a lot of time. I don't know, books. Suppose you are giving reference of a book. What do? You give the surname, okay? And after that, the name. Name can only be the initial. Suppose I'm saying Dr. Shilpi Jha. So it will be Jha S. That will suffice. Okay? Then you will give the name of the book. The name of the book will be in italics. Then will come the publisher. Who has published that? Then will come the place of publication. Then will come the edition. Okay, which edition? Is it the first edition, second edition? Then will come the year, and then will come the page number. Is it clear? Of course, there is, you know, if there are 2 authors, if there are more than 2 authors, if it is an edited work, okay, for example, Leviathan by Hobbes, if it is a translated work, but then we need a lot of time. So for the time being, you know, when you're writing your article, just try to follow this. If you are using an article, let us say from EPW, then what you will do, again, the name of the author in the same way. Then you will give the article. Suppose I have published there, TRIPS agreement, then you will give the TRIPS agreement. Then you will give EPW, the name of the journal, okay, the magazine, EPW, volume or issue number. Now, if it is an article from page, let us say 41 to 43, then you must write 41, the beginning of that article, that page, and you will also write the page on which I have, let us say I've taken something from page 42. So I will write 41, 42. 41 is the beginning, and 42 is the page under reference. Are you understanding, or am I going too fast?
No, ma'am.
Am I going too fast?
Yeah. No, ma'am.
Okay.
It's okay. Now we can actually conclude, ma'am, because again, our session will end in 8 minutes. Yeah.
Okay. A citation of journals, you know, AIR and all. Citation of case law, you know. Citing statutes, all capital letters in smaller font. And citing websites, then when you have accessed that website, you must write. So bibliography and webiography when you are going to websites. Okay. I have hurried through at the end, but then I've exceeded my time. I'm sorry about it. We need a lot of time. You know, I take almost 30 hours to do what I've done with you in 2 hours. So thank you for being very patient with
Thank you
me.
so much.
And if I was, and if I got irritated, I'm sorry, because once I start, I don't like.
I understand that. I understand. Actually, it is our fault that we chose this.
No.
And the
No,
next time,
it is
ma'am.
no one's fault. Shilpi, no one's fault. It's all a learning process.
Yes.
At the beginning, we may be totally wrong. No problem. We will refine ourselves later.
Yes.
So thank you all very much. I think there may be no time for question answers, but if you send the questions to me, I'll be too happy to answer them later on.
Yes, ma'am.
So thank you all very much.
And feedback form, everyone please fill, so that we get
okay. Have a nice evening. Thank you.
Thank you so much, ma'am. It was a pleasant and interactive session. Thank you so much.
Please let them fill the feedback form so that we can improve ourselves.
Yes.
Oh, Prosper D'Souza, so nice to see you.